All right, Cannonball Cats, I'm on Budget, Texas. We are back again. Oh my gosh, things are happening really fast, folks. Let's check this, make sure it's clear. This is a Gen 3 Glock 17. We have been doing our upgrade series on, no magazine, it's all clear, safe to work on. And we are back to do yet another installation of an upgrade. My last couple videos, part 1 and part 2, been fairly long, obviously 20 plus minutes, breaking this whole thing down, breaking down springs and so forth. This one ought to go a little quicker, but man, I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching me in this series. See me put these things together. It's a journey for me. It's a journey for the firearm, and hopefully the end result's going to be a super sweet ride. So anyhow, what we have today, again, this is kind of a quick one. This is just going to be a trigger and trigger bar change out from the factory change out. Watch my previous 2 videos and you'll know that we've already changed out the connector in the frame. We've changed out the trigger spring. We've gone up in the slide and installed a reduced hammer spring and a reduced power hammer block spring. And right now we have this firearm trigger weight, which I don't expect to change with this, but down to where we like it and where we want it to stay, which is in that 3 3/4 to 4 pound range, give or take. And it may lighten up a little bit over time with more firing, but anywhere it should finalize itself somewhere around that 3.5 pound to 3.75 pound mark, which we're perfectly good with, knowing we got a good wall. This trigger just leaves a lot to be desired. This curved face stock factory trigger, and we want to put in a new one. Going to put in a flat face trigger, and this is what we're putting in right here. So nothing. Let's see if I don't know if that focuses in or not, so you can see it. Nothing too crazy. It's not any kind of Apex special trigger. What this is a Polymer 80 brand PF series P80 PFP PTKIT black flat face trigger. So let's get it out of the bag and take a look at it. I just received it, so this is my first time looking. And got a nice spring on the block there. Actually, pretty nice. It appears to be polished from the factory, though. Very nice. Looks pretty good. I think it's going to work out very nice. Let's go ahead and get it installed. Get this thing done and get you guys on your way. All right. See how easy this thing breaks down. Set this up here. We're not working with the slide right now. I did function test these spring installs while we're doing this. In part 3, or I told you in part 2, I had to do a function test still. I did function test this firearm yesterday at the range. I put 100 rounds through it, and it performed flawlessly. I mean flawlessly, and that's still with the factory recoil spring and the factory barrel. Just with the every other part is factory too, other than the spring changeouts that I did and the connector changeout. So it performed flawlessly. So hopefully this trigger change here is going to do just as good. I forgot to get my pins out right quick, but and my small block, so I'm gonna pause this real quick and come back with the parts I need so we can pop this trigger out and get it changed out. Be right back with you in a minute. All right, we are back. Got out my punch pin set. Got my hammer, a couple punch pins here, punch tools. Got our RC car bench block. I like to use this when needed, just show you don't have to have all the most dedicated types of equipment. A lot of times things around the house will work for you. So anyhow, let's keep going here. Let's get this thing broken out so we can get this trigger out. We are going to first take out this top pin, and that will allow us, there we go, get this next pin out, which is our locking block, and hopefully I can jiggle this and I don't need to hammer it out. We'll see. Looks like I will need to. So what we'll do is I'll come in and do it this way. This guy here, Turn that pin just a little bit up like that. Wiggle him just a little bit. Sometimes you got to get him just in that right spot because baby's giving me some trouble today. Let's go ahead and see what we can do here. It's got that little bit of a pin there. There we go. Just had to wiggle it a couple times to let it pop free. We'll take that slide stop out. Pop out the locking block. Pull him out. And next, we just pop out the trigger pin. Get that out and move everything out of the way here. Got a trigger there. Now we just take this guy here, put him across, pull up, and bam, there's our trigger mechanism. So what we want to do to take this guy apart is you want to get that crucible out from under the connector and get that out of the slot right here. So what you do is you essentially, you can see where that's sitting in there, you essentially pull it forward and then swing, and then that frees it up just like that. And now that allows you to get your actual trigger off. There it goes, it comes out. We're done with that. Set that aside. Remember that your spring is always going to be an S shape, so the opening is always going to be facing just like an S when you're connected, in case you ever actually take the spring off of your, which I just did here, take the spring off. Remember, it's always going to be an S shape on there. So I'm going to hook this on this guy just like that. You see how it's hooked there? And we're going to put it back in the slot in the back of the trigger here. Let me just show it's good. We're going to put it, you can see that little hole in the back there, right in that back of that plastic housing, and that's where that spring's going to go. We just basically reverse the installation. Get my eyes on good here so I can see what I'm doing. Make sure I get it in there. There we go. So now we've got it in there. So now to put it back in, you basically do the same thing you did before. You want to get this little slot into this little slot right here, and then this piece needs to go under your connector. So in order to do that, you put it forward, you push it, turn it this way, put it in just like that, and slide it, and now you're in, just like that. All right, that's simple, folks. So now that we are in, now we can put our trigger back into our firearm. Again, this is a much simpler process than what it appears to be. Sometimes when you're looking at it on camera, it can look like it's very difficult, but it's actually quite simple. You just have to follow a couple of those little procedures, you know what I mean? Put it back in here, push everything in, and I believe we've got it all installed here. So now it's all back in there. And basically we just got to put our pins back in. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put I don't do it quite in the same order as a lot of folks, but I like to put this trigger pin back in right away because that enables me to make sure that this guy's in solid and he's not coming out anywhere. And then let me just balance him up. That pin on each side. A little bit more from this end. Make sure they look pretty even. That's pretty damn close, but my OCD won't let me live with it. All right, there we go. We got that in. Now we're going to come back and put the locking block back in. That goes essentially right here. You just push it in like that. Then I'm going to go ahead and put this pin in next, which is the upper locking block pin. I'm going to try it. I saw this a certain way on the Weber net, and so I'm going to try and do it this way and see if this makes anything any easier for the install of the slide stop, because by having that upper pin in, this spring has to rest against that, and so by having that upper pin in, the spring already has something to go against. It'll already put it under a little tension, but it also, I'm hoping, will make it a little easier to get in. And then what you got is you got these little slots right here, and that spring catch actually catches in a slot, so you just got to get it in there. And I've got that pin in, so now I want to push it until it pops into place. Hopefully I can hear it. I didn't hear it, but I believe it's in right now. I think it went in when I pushed it. I'm just trying to balance out this pin here. Let's see. Yep, got that done. Okay. Now let's check this trigger here. Everything locks. Locks there. And squeezes. Okay. Well, let's put it back together. Alright, here's the finished product. There's your flat face trigger. Comes in. There's your wall right there. Bam. There's your reset. And click. Baby works perfect. Just like we wanted it to. I'm not worried about checking the trigger weight. You guys have seen the trigger weight. You know how it runs. Like I said, it was already running perfect. But you know what? We'll just do one just for the heck of it and just see how it pulls. And that pulls in at, try and get that so you can see that. You can see that that's under 4 pounds. That exact amount is 3 pounds and just a shade over 3/4. So let's just call it we'll just call it 3 3/4 pounds, about 3 pounds, 13 ounces. All right, folks, there was part 3 of this phase, and we're moving on to the next step in the next one. That was a quickie for you, but just want to show you how to quickly get that trigger installed and go from there. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Go check out the 2 previous. They're a little bit longer, a little bit slower, but they'll show you how to install the other springs that you can get in these kits. And we'll go from there. And we'll see you on the next one. Cannonball Cats, hunting on a budget, Texas. Thanking everybody for joining in. God bless you. God bless Texas. God bless the USA. Not in any particular order. We'll see you on the flip side. Take care. Bye-bye.